people in different income brackets, like there's different entitlements, but like, I feel like
everyone knows that one person who's like,
but
Mum and Dad didn't buy me this model of car.
That stems us all back to the topic, which is
last year I got 37 gifts. Hello everyone and welcome to the very first ever episode of the 5,000 Week Journey podcast. Super excited to be here, and my name is Blake and I'm here with my two friends Ayrton and Colby. How you guys doing today?
Good, man.
Thanks for having us at your humble house.
Thanks for having yourself in my house.
I'm glad to be here.
I appreciate entry into your
and all the podcasting gear and camera gear and.
Well, all right, let's not get carried away.
I apologize for us wearing plain shirts, and Colby.
I really wanted to wear.
Spiced it up for us.
I really wanted to wear a blue shirt today. These two guys are already wearing blue shirts. I have to wear a white shirt because these guys are already, and I'm in the middle. So,
well, you're always trying to stand out.
Well, maybe the brand color could have been blue.
It works. It's like blue, white, blue.
I like it.
It's fantastic.
So, the topic of today. Well, Blake, it's your introduction today. So why don't you bring us into what matters?
For sure. So we're obviously talking about. Actually, you know what? Before we get into that, let's actually talk about the 5,000 week journey and just give a little brief description of what it means to all of us. So we came up with I called you guys last week and I've talked to you both separately about it. And then I did a group call and I was like, you know what, guys, let's do this thing together. Like the 5,000 week journey, which to me means like, that's all we have in life. From the day you're born to the maximum day you're going to live is like 5,000 weeks. So in that time, it's about making the best and most incredible life that you can possibly have.
So let's talk about where you got that name there from, that 5,000 weeks up north.
Yeah. So I was actually reading a book and I taught Colby a lesson about how I did.
You did. That's fair.
I taught you a lesson about how in life we basically like everyone counts up, and when you count up in your age, so like I'm 23, and you're counting up, which means there's like unlimited amount and can go up forever. Mm-hmm. But if you flip that and be like, okay, if I potentially the average age of dying or whatever is like 88 or something, then I only have like 3,000 weeks of my life left. And now I'm counting down, and like my parents only have like 1,500 weeks left in their life. And that sort of changed your perspective of like, oh man, like time really is limited and we got to make the most of the situation now.
It's like if we've got 100 years, like, well, I'm not 22. I've got 78 years left. You know, it's different.
Yeah, it's like flipping the script. Like, what does it mean to you?
For me, it's a similar along those lines, but I don't really get affected by the time. Mm-mm. It's more about the impact, the time that I have to make an impact on this world. So how much time do I have left to leave my mark? So that's kind of where I am with the podcast, and what I want to talk about is that how can I spread my message and interview and talk to you guys about topics that will get people thinking about their life and really about the amount of time they have left and making the most of it. So that's what it's for me. Yeah,
no, I get that. I think because to give some background, because people watching are probably wondering like, you know, what the hell are they talking about? So basically, Just before COVID, that 1 week of COVID, if you all remember that, where we all got locked inside of our houses and had to wear masks. About a week before that.
This is in Perth, 2021.
Yeah, Perth, 2021. So the week before that, we decided to go up north, and we basically ended up in the middle of Whoop Whoop in a bunch of places with like a population in the 200s and stuff like that. And we went on with some awesome journeys, to pretty much be simple. And Blake learned some pretty awesome stuff and shared it with us, and we all learned some really cool stuff. And one of the big discoveries that we all kind of had there that we talked about was indeed what Blake's talking about here, how we only have so much time left. And I think it was really, really eye-opening as well. Just sort of really thinking about it, like, man, I better do some stuff. I'm gonna be
anything.
I'm gonna be dead in 3,500 weeks. I should go do some things.
Yeah, I think what's great about us three is we all express it in literally 3 different ways. That's 3 different avenues of ways of like how we can, of what the 5,000 week journey means to us. To me, it's like maximizing everything, which is why like I'm in training for this marathon at the moment, because I believe in pushing yourself to the limits of like what you're capable of. And then in Ayrton's way, it's more like business, spirituality, and the way of actually improving yourself. And then you're more like traveling, new experiences.
Adventure, brother.
Adventure.
Seeing everything, meeting everything, touching everything, the walls.
Touching the walls
What are you touching,
of every
mate?
country.
The furry walls?
Yeah, stroke the furry wall, man. We've all seen that movie. But yeah, no, I live for the thrill of adventure. Like that's what it is, man. Like there's such a huge world out there. If you've only got so long to see it, get it done.
Yeah, because one day you might wake up and
Yeah.
you're like 40 or 45 and you've done nothing.
One day you just won't wake up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
there you go. Maximum 5,000 weeks, but it could be like 2,500 weeks. You never know. But that's basically why we all sort of come together to start this podcast, to share and basically get the most out of life for people and help people. And with that, let's lead into the first topic. And I think this is something that Ayrton is probably the most, what's the right word? Smartest about? Or like, I couldn't think of the word. Most educated on is probably most educated on. So if you want to lead us in, that'd be great.
What is the topic? No, serious. Living for the weekend. This is an interesting topic that I think that for people who will be listening to this podcast, when you're talking about living for the weekend, and I want to hear both of you express your examples of it. Like I remember when I was working at a service station a couple of years ago, I used to look forward to the weekend. And I mean, I still look forward to the weekend. There's nothing wrong with looking forward to the weekend, but it was the mindset around it, working for the week so you can enjoy 2 of the days. And that was where your happiness was, if only from those 2 days. So Colby, what's your perspective on that?
Well, I totally get it, because when I was younger, so back before I got into other stuff, when I was a bit younger, I used to be a teacher, and I would work Monday to Friday as a teacher. Yeah.
You were a teacher?
So I did a
Teacher
couple
of what?
things.
We're learning some new stuff here, guys.
So I was also a music teacher, but I worked at a private college as well for like diplomas and stuff like that.
This is news to us, guys, by the way.
I actually had my certificates in training and assessing by the time I was like 18. I was like the youngest college lecturer in the state, because it was like I don't know, it was a really, really long course, but I just went and did it. But anyway, so I used to just be like, all right, cool, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to go home, I'm going to go to bed, like, where's the weekend? Like, just come on here. And for me, it was, every week it was just all about, this is just a stepping stone to the weekend, like nothing matters. And so because of that, like ultimately the week would not be super productive. And more importantly, it wouldn't be a happy time. Like you said, your weekend's your happy time. I don't think I was ever really happy during the week, because my only point of happiness was like, oh, it's Wednesday. The weekend's only 2 days away. Like, and it's just like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's super unhealthy, because
What do you believe's created this? Because like you think about it, everyone. Well, I remember going through school. Everyone's sort of had the similar sort of mindset around it, especially after school friends.
Your days off school.
Yeah, I mean, like, or maybe it starts from school. I remember being in school. Like, this is stepping back to school. Like, it get to Friday 3 p.m. I was so excited just to go home. Like, I just. I don't know if you guys had that as well.
I do get that.
school.
Yeah, I do get that. Like I think maybe it's just like a culturally ingrained sort of thing. Like I'm not sure. Like because you do notice it when you ask yourself, well, why is this a thing? It's like, well, that's a good question, because it's not everywhere. Because like when I went to Spain, as was one country in particular, which has some really interesting like daily routines, like siesta and that. They did a lot during their week. Like I was in Barcelona and like Porto de Mazaron and stuff like that, and every day of the week was basically like the weekend. Like as soon as they were done, they would just go out and do stuff and do things. There was no like, yeah, cool, let's just do nothing. It's just a week. It's like, awesome, cool, we've done that, done at work. Let's just go. And obviously on the weekends they're not working. For some people, so they could do all day doing what they wanted, but they'd still never have that. I don't know, they just didn't have that mindset like, oh, let's wait for the weekend. They'd be like, nah, today is today, tomorrow will be tomorrow. So let's just use the time we have.
Yeah.
So that there's a really, I love the Spanish mentality. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, what about you, Blake? What does living for the weekend mean to you?
Yeah. I just want to say, I think right now, I'm no more excited for the weekend than I am during the week. Like sometimes I forget it's Friday night. Like I remember I was working and then it's Friday night. I'm like, oh crap, that's great. And I don't get excited for the weekend, because I'm genuinely like, I'm trying to love every day.
It's kind of just like any other day, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
to
like,
me,
it's just like today's called Friday. It's
exactly
Saturday.
But obviously back in the day, I had those experiences where, like, I just didn't do much during the week, or I had uni during the week, or I had work during the week, and then it was the weekend, and you sort of just go out on your $50 budget, and you'd find a way to get as drunk as possible, or just to do something with your friends.
See, I kind of wonder, is the core reason why everyone's just looking forward to the weekend, is it the fact that a lot of people just don't like doing what they have to do during the week? Like they don't like their jobs, or they don't necessarily like what they're studying? Because the more I think about it, when I was looking forward to the weekend, I liked my job at first, but when I really felt it, I really didn't like the job. Like I was good at it, but I didn't like it. And so I feel like it kind of just stained my day with this bad sort of feeling.
I just think it's because it's a time everyone's free. That's the reason I enjoy the weekend slightly more than during the week. I'm no more excited for it, but when I want to film a video and I know someone works every day, I know they're free on Saturday, I know they're free on Sunday.
It's a big plus.
You know? And like going out, like you're more likely to have more friends free on the weekends, and then you can all gather together. Whereas during the week, you sort of have to enjoy being alone sometimes, or you have to actually enjoy your work. If you're, because we don't, all three of us don't have jobs, but we work for ourselves. Wow. So it's a bit different for actually going to a place where we have to deal with people that we may or may not like, or a job we may or not like.
It is a gift to be in the position to be like, oh, I don't like you. I'm not working with you.
Yeah,
it's a gift. But it's funny. It's actually. I'll get back to this point. Ayrton looks like he's got you got something.
What changed for you, Blake? Like this is only a recent thing.
Ooh.
What changed for you?
What for the excitement?
Because when I first met you, you were always looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah.
So what changed?
When was that? It was early 2020. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Early end of 2019.
Actually, I met you in 2019, didn't I?
What changed?
That is the question.
It's hard to put a thing on it, eh? It's like the first thing that comes to mind is just sort of enjoying the now, like actually enjoying spending time with yourself and your own company, and actually being able to, and also like Colby said, being in the position where, you know, I don't have to actually wake up at a certain time to go to a job that I may or may not like. Like we're all fortunate to be in a position where we don't have to do those things for other people, and we do them for ourselves. So it's sort we're a bit more dictated to how we create our lives. Yeah. But obviously, I think I was the most recent one to have a job out of all of us, and also with uni as well. But yeah, I think it's also the people you hang around with. I remember like back then, I used to have a different friendship group, which are still a good group of guys, but it's just my interests were slowly no longer becoming their interests. Yeah. And then I started, and that was around the time I met Ayrton, which was like mid 2019, and then all of 2020.
So you're saying I'm the change.
What's your friendship group?
I'll take credit. Don't tell him that.
You're literally like, everyone knows the quote, you are the sum of your 5 closest friends.
Yeah.
So if you're hanging out with like people who just like live for the weekend, or like if you hang out with like just any type of group, you're going to eventually become that group. So if you hang out with people who have a business, or you're going to eventually like maybe start your own thing, or invest, or do something like that. So
that's totally true.
I think that's what changed for me.
Yeah, you got to change up the people you hang with, because you're 100% right. I'm not 100% sure on the quote is, but it's 100% right. You're the sum of the people that you spend the most time with. So like I had a group of friends who I really liked, I still really like, but they got to a point, you know, being 24, whatever, where they were like, yeah, no, I'm content. I don't want anything more. I'm just gonna just keep working this same job. You know, maybe get a house, something like that, and just do the exact same thing for the next 40 years, and then I'll retire. And I was like, that's not me. And I don't want to hang out with just people who feel that way, because I want people who want to go out and adventure, go hiking, go stuff like that. They're like, no, we'll just stay home this weekend, just watch some movies.
I always find that a weird balance of like, this is an interesting topic, I feel, of like, because with like living in the moment and being present and actually just enjoying yourself, it's a balance of like, you have to be content with what you have, but does that mean I shouldn't want more? No. But it's this balance of like, it's like, oh, I've achieved enough. Like, is that enough? I should be content, but I'm not. But it's like also being happy with what you have, but also half also being like, I still want to go out and achieve more. Not because of like, you know, $1 million isn't enough, or like this car, or like if you work hard, or if you're in a business.
I think
so. It's finding that balance, which is tough.
Yeah, I think people present contentment as the opposite of ambition, but I don't think that's necessarily true. Like, Like, yeah, like I think you'd know a lot about this.
Yeah, I think this is something that
Yeah, I
is
think
your
something-
specialty.
Yeah.
It's just like when people say money doesn't buy you happiness. Well, if you had more money, you'd be happier, right?
I mean,
It's not the be all and end all.
but
But
it's not the be all end all. It's like,
it's the old quote, like you've never seen a sad dude in a jet ski.
no, I haven't. But it's interesting because I have this conversation with my clients every single day. It's like they're all striving for more, and they're always going for more. And I have to remind them sometimes about being present and happy in the moment and enjoying the journey, enjoying the process. Like, because I came across this, one of my very first mentors literally said this to me. This is like 5 years ago, and it hit me. And that's why I've actually got it as a tattoo on my arm. Is that it's not the destination that you're striving. Like, that's not the aim. That's not the end goal, right? You obviously, we set goals and ambitions and stuff like that, but it's the journey of getting there and enjoying that process. And the more you focus on enjoying the journey, the more you'll be happy, the more you'll actually get fulfillment from that. Because when you get to the end goal, like, you're going to be happy for a second. You're like, oh, what's the next thing? But if you enjoy the journey, which is being present, then you'll be happy. So it's just like the whole, leading it back to the topic. It's like, well, people looking forward to the weekend. When it gets to the weekend then ends, then you're not happy again.
Yeah, it's.
But if you enjoyed the journey of getting to the weekend more, which has been happy during the week,
yeah. Well, let's think about
then
it.
you'd be happier.
If you're only happy during the weekend, you're spending, 5/7 of your life, 5 out of 7 days unhappy. I mean, well, okay, let's say you're happy on Friday. Let's be charitable and say that you're happy on Friday because the weekend's near. So cool, 4 out of 7, more than half your life, you're going to be super unhappy, and maybe you'll balance it out with a holiday or two. But the question is, do you want to spend half of your life unhappy? And if you think about it that way, I mean, who's going to say yes? Who's going to say, oh, half of my life unhappy? But that means the other half's happy, doesn't it? It's like, yeah.
So I got a question for both of you, because
sure.
I feel like we're talking about the problem, but what's the solution? How do you become more happy? Like, we all have our own businesses, but
Yeah, I think we're all going to have certainly different opinions on the answer.
what about you, Blake? What's the solution? How does someone become more happy, or how do they stop? Well, they can still look forward to the weekend, but how can they start incorporating happiness throughout the week?
You just got to have a goal and actually live for something. Like, I think the reason why people feel stagnant if we're in the 9 to 5 and they're not even happy or they only live for the weekends is because the weekends is their goal, and they're just not.
So
they're not moving forward in life, because life is all about growth and fulfillment.
What goals should they set? Because, like, we're all ambitious, but does everyone have to be as ambitious as us?
Let's not put it that way. I think that there's a lot of different types of ambition. I think the ultimate thing is it's not about what it is you want to do. It's about that you do the things that you want to do. Because the one thing I say to everyone, and I've said this to some close friends who have had problems and things like that, they're like, oh, what should I do? And it's like, well, my answer always is for that. If anyone's wondering what they should do, is do whatever you want, whenever you want, so long as it doesn't hurt anyone who doesn't deserve it. And people are like, well, I can't always do that. I got to say, well, if you don't like that job, you don't want that job. So what you want is to start looking for a better job. What you might want is to not have a job for 4 weeks so you can go off for a hike and discover yourself. Like, the thing is you should always, in my opinion, be taking steps towards the location that you want to be in. And some of those steps might be uncomfortable, but you'll enjoy them in reality because they're taking you towards where you want to go. So that's my opinion, because a lot of people feel paralyzed, like I can't do what I want because I'm trapped where I am, and it's that very it's that trapped, that prison mindset where you just feel like I'm imprisoned in my life. Well, it's like, well, no, just look at it and go, well, is this what I want? And if the answer is no, make a change. And I think people get trapped in routine and think that that's where they have to stay, and so they get in that routine of looking to the weekend and stuff like that.
Do you think this is a society problem?
No.
That everyone's like this, or
It comes down to individual, because at the end of the day, you literally create your own life, whether you know of it or you don't know of it. So basically, you pretty much are the sum of your habits, whatever you do every single day. And if I'm hanging around someone that's influenced me to do bad behavior, I can make that choice to stop hanging out with them. It might be quite hard, but it's still a choice that you can make. You pretty much create your own life. If I want to go and hang around with, if I want to learn how to make money or learn more about real estate, I can what's stopping me from going and knocking on doors of real estate places and saying, hey, I'm willing to work for free. I just want to learn. You literally create your own life. I know that's not everyone's ambition, but something small as like Maybe you want to lose a few pounds. Maybe you want to change your diet because you have a lot of takeaway food. Maybe you've always wanted to, in my case, run a marathon. So it's actually, it's not just the fact of running a marathon and completing it.
Maybe you want to eat 100 hot dogs in one
But like, yeah, maybe you want to do that as well. Man, it makes you happy.
I forget that guy's name. Like, just smash it down.
But it's all about the journey of getting to that goal. But that goal isn't be all and end all. It's what the process represents. Like imagine like that's why like when people in sport achieve great things, they cry. Like Michael Jordan, LeBron James. So I couldn't get his name out of my head. I was thinking of Kobe. But like when they won
when they win the championship.
But when they won the championship, they cried because it's all that the process of getting there and achieving that.
Yeah.
But they love the process of getting there.
Yeah, they're not crying about their accomplishment. They're crying because all that emotion for that whole journey is finally just...
Because people want that feeling of fulfillment without putting the work in. People want that... Like when I first started training for this marathon, I've been thinking about like me crossing the finish line. And then I'm like, man, like it'd be so much better to have that feeling without having to work for it. Mm-hmm. But if I didn't work for it, I wouldn't have that feeling. And that's what a lot of people have. They're actually getting to that. They're trying to like take shortcuts and not do things in life.
It's something my dad often talks about. Instant gratification, basically, is what you're referring to, where people just, they want their quick fix. And it's present in a lot of things. It's why like a lot of people will just go for quick, easy forms of entertainment and stuff like that. Like, okay, well, would you rather just sit down and spend the entire week after you get home from work just watching funny TV shows, or would you work on yourself as a person and growing professionally and personally and as Ayrton went a lot about spiritually? A lot of people will be like, that sounds like work. This is very fun straight away.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go do that. But I think it's both a societal and a personal thing. But before that,
how's it societal? Sorry.
Well, I'd like to hear what Ayrton's opinion is. He asked the question.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
Oh, it's a system that we've been put through from a young age because it's like generations of the same getting passed down. I had a conversation with someone today around this whole thing that when you finish school, like you're told to go to university, you're told to go then buy a house by age of 30, have a kid, get married, and like we're put through and we're told that from a young age. Like we all have the similar sort of beliefs. Do you believe you guys were told to buy a house at one stage? You may not have, but I'm just saying most people. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's a system. And it's like there's all these different things that we're always looking at. Most people are looking forward to the weekend. And I saw a video on TikTok recently which explained the housing. I think I sent it to both of you. But it's not really about the housing thing I want to talk about. It's more about the principle that guy was overseas and sharing the same things that's happening over here with the way people are brought up. And we're all educated a very similar way through the same system. And the ones who are the most successful in life are the ones that break the system.
Yeah, for
and it's really, and the people that are most happy are the ones that are not following the system. Isn't that interesting? And this is not just people who are rich. We're talking, monks. Are they buying a house? No. And they're some of the most happiest people in the world.
Well, like even when you're saying it's not about the rich, like when I was in Southeast Asia and that, there are a lot of people there who have a lot less than us.
Yep.
And they are very, very, very happy with their lives. Like I was like, man, because I was much younger when I went over there, so I was very naive when I was younger. I've still got lots to learn, but I was over there. I was like, man, these people have so little and they're so happy.
Yep.
They're legit. Like I've sat and I've chatted with them because the ones that spoke English, or I just hung out with the ones that didn't, and they're just so happy. Like I remember,
Here's a little experiment I remember hearing about. So this doctor had like bananas, right? No, and he gave a monkey a banana and did a brain scan, and when it got the banana, it like had that dopamine. It was like and like very like. Just it got happier in the brain. Then he did the experiment where he gave the same monkey or different monkey, whatever, 2 bananas, but then he took one of the bananas away, and he was actually in a lower state than when he had no bananas, which is like almost like resentment and anger.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of what society has now. We sort of get told
and that's
a lot of things of like, you can have all this, and then we get it taken away from us. But then when people never have it in the first place, they're kind of just like,
Well, actually,
grateful when you grow up with nothing, you're grateful for anything you get. But when you grow up with a bunch of stuff and then you don't get the things you want, that also has a big impact on you.
I think you're onto something important here, which is expectation.
Yes.
So I'll bring up my dad again because my dad's a very wise man. And I laughed at the house thing because the one thing my dad always told to me from the age of 15 was like, Colby, never buy a house.
It's like,
it's like,
that's what I'm like,
never buy a house.
Not everyone
Unless
has
renting.
it,
But no, the one thing he always said is, like he said to me, even when I like started my business and we talked, and like, this just wasn't, he was like, cool, Colby, well, why aren't you a janitor? Like, you know, well, why aren't you mowing lawns for the rest of your life? Like, why aren't you doing this? And he wasn't saying, oh, you know, why aren't you doing this? He was saying, you're not entitled to be any better off than anyone else. Like, none of us should have any expectations because we're not entitled to anything. You have to work for everything you get. But the thing is I think it's a little bit of a societal thing, is because, you know, it came up somewhere, this culture of expectation, but people feel like they're owed something. And I'm not saying that for everyone. I'm just saying for some people. And some people are very unhappy because they're like, well, why don't I get this? Well, it's like, well, why should you? You like, I'm not saying that you can't have it or that you don't necessarily deserve it, but you will deserve it if you work hard for it. And then you'll feel it. You've earned it.
It's interesting. I was having this conversation with someone today about the same thing, and the conversation was around like their friends having this entitlement because like their parents would like just buy their stuff, and you know, like say they need a new phone. My mum and dad will buy me a new phone, and like entitled to it. And I'm like,
I wish I had that when I was young.
It's actually like, and then this is coming from like the parents' point of view, is like they're trying to do the best for their children, just like raise them up, and they've worked hard to have, you know, look after their family. But it's actually done the opposite for the kids. Is the kids are like, yeah, well, I deserve this. You know, I want the new iPhone now, Mum, Dad.
Yeah,
give it to me now.
I mean, I probably wasn't.
And I'm not saying everyone's like that, but like that, I think there's like different, you know, people in different income brackets. Like there's different entitlements, but like, you know, I feel like
everyone knows that one person who's like,
yeah, but
Mum and Dad didn't buy me this model of car.
That stems us all back to the topic, which is
last year I got 37 gifts,
which is looking forward to the weekend. People that think they're entitled to the weekend, they don't want to work on the weekend. They complain about it. They want to work on the weekend, but then they're like, oh, but like I don't have any money. And then they're like, oh, well, how do I get the money? Or like, you know, work harder. Yeah, and then there's like, it's just like a cycle that people just go through. They look for the weekend, they spend all the money in the weekend, then have to work all during the week, and then they complain about not having money, and then it gets to the weekend. It's like
that comes back to wanting the feeling of the goal without doing the work.
At the same time, though, I think I do get, and I don't think we should rag on about how it's people's fault, because obviously we make the decisions ourselves. But I definitely think,
whose fault is it, Colby?
I feel like you do have to take responsibility for your own life.
I think people have to take responsibility, but it would certainly help if society helped push them in the right direction a little more.
But if no one's helping you, then you sort of have to be like, all right,
I get that.
No one's going to help me mow my lawn. I got to mow my lawn myself.
But yeah, society does very much try and push people into certain boxes. And, you know, while obviously it's up to you to resist that, I think we would be better off if we were in a society that allowed people to indulge their you know, what they truly want out of life and their creative ambitions and things like that a little more freely, rather than just being like, you know what, go in, do this set thing, yada yada, get a 9 to 5, like even like in the 90s and the 80s, cut your hair and get a real job, stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. And I wanted to go back with one thing we were talking about before. So we're talking about expectations, right? And I was trying to remember this quote, which I was frantically looking up. I remember hearing this from Tony Robbins, and it was...
God, he's huge.
He's a massive, massive bloke.
I feel like Tony Robbins...
I thought you meant huge as in like everyone knows him, but like
no, I feel like if Tony Robbins...
if he slammed his fist...
If he slammed his fist on my head, I feel like I'd drop to like 5 feet.
But yeah, I remember hearing this quote from him, and it's so true. It goes, happiness equals reality minus expectations. Because when you expect something from someone, like I expected you to come home and do this, like maybe to your girlfriend or to your wife, or like when you expect so much from other people and then they don't meet up to those expectations, or even anything, as soon as it doesn't meet your expectations, then you're unhappy because you didn't get what you want.
Yeah.
But if you do like Gary Vee takes this approach a lot as well. He expects nothing. Like if he tells someone, an employee to do something, in his head, he's already expecting them to screw up and to not do it. And so when he does do it, he's like, wow, like that's great. That's fantastic. If I expected nothing from like anything from anyone and then they gave me something small, it'd be like, wow, I can't believe you actually did this. I wasn't expecting anything. But then when you're expecting this big thing from people or from your job or from life and it doesn't even get close to it, then you're like, it can lead to depression after a long time.
Yeah, that's.
So it's being like content, but not expecting much from others.
Yeah,
or like expectations with anything really.
Yeah, and I feel like people misunderstand that. Like they go, well, what do you mean? Like, why would I expect nothing from my friends? They're good people. It's like when we say don't expect much from others, it doesn't mean doesn't mean in
a shallow way.
Yeah, it doesn't mean look at them like, oh, they're useless. It just means don't think that you're entitled to them to do things for you.
Because if they don't, you'll be upset.
It just comes back to entitlement. It's don't think that you are owed something from your friends, and appreciate everything they do for you, because they've actively made that choice to go, you know what, I'm going to do this for you. No matter how little the thing is, like they have chosen in their minds to do something nice for you.
Yeah.
Even if it's, to take your dog for a walk or something. Like, thanks, man.
Can you take my dog for a walk?
But
if you had one.
But flipping, get 2 dogs.
Get a dog and I'll walk it.
All right, sweet.
Relating this back to the 9 to 5 weekend, because I always try and relate it to, because I feel like I always try and relate it to people working 9 to 5s, because that's sort of
the standard.
That's sort of the standard jobs or norms or anything. People that work jobs. So relating it to that, it's just sort of like obviously going back to people only being happy 2 to 3 days of the week. Like, what's something they can do now during that week of, let's say they hate their job, they come home, like family life is very average.
Well, suppose
what's something they can do to change that? And the weekends are only time where they actually have a bit more freedom.
Let's be super immediate and super realistic. Because if I said, quit your job and like go get something you like, it's not instant. It takes time.
Especially when you're like 35, 40.
Yeah, and especially if you've got people to support.
Yeah.
So what I'd say is, while I could say, use that spare time you've got to take steps towards like what you want to do, like with studying or something like that. I think the first basic step that we can all do straight away without having to invest any any money or anything like that is think about something you really enjoy doing. And by that I mean like a hobby. Like a hobby. So
something that makes you happy.
Yeah, something that every time you do you're like, oh,
and making time for it.
This is awesome. And make time for it. Like every day, like a little bit, even if it's just 30 minutes. If you go, you know what, I love going out the back with paintbrush and canvas and just painting pictures of the sun.
And
then do it.
To give more structure to that, it could even be just getting clearer on like maybe 5 key things that you love doing.
Yeah.
That don't require you to force yourself to do it. Like, you know what, I love going out and painting, or I love just sitting down and reading a book.
Yeah.
And incorporating more of that stuff. I learned from a productivity book a couple of years ago. It's like, even a lot of people like say their week's busy, right? And the 9 to 5, like they're like, oh, I don't have time to go to the gym, or I don't have time to. It's just because it's not a priority. And that's like actually causing them not to be happy. But what I learned in this productivity book was schedule the things that you love doing into your week and make them a priority first.
Yeah, because
before anything else,
then you'll just feel like that they're
and
actually
this instantly. This is like not saying quit your job. This is like, if you want to be more happy and stop living towards the weekends, like schedule in things you love doing throughout the week. So for me, like I schedule, because I do work a 9 to 5 hour in my business and I stop at 5, but I schedule between 7 and 8 that I sit down, I'll play a guitar, read a book, and I'll do something fun that's not business related. I'll switch off. Like, and that's something I teach my clients. This is what I share to anyone. It's like, if you want to find more happiness, the happiness is within, but you need to make time for it.
I like it.
You need to schedule it.
It's a creative outlet as well.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the main thing people go. Like, I just bought a piano recently, little cheap keyboard, and I've learned a couple songs already.
That's awesome.
I had this
And
conversation.
it's fun. It's like, I'm learning something new, and it's like, it's great.
To come back to that scheduling, I think that's actually a really good idea, because it almost feels like you have a responsibility to enjoy yourself, which
100%.
yeah, like
why the fuck not?
Yeah,
right?
like, why not? People are like, oh, no,
you schedule the weekend.
Yeah.
You look for, like, you think about it, the weekend's scheduled in your mind. Why don't you schedule some fun things during the week that you consistently do?
And you got time. Like, it's like, all right, let's say let's say that, you're a commuter. So let's say that you've got to do the commute. In WA, it'd be like Perth. Or let's say you live in one of the outer suburbs and it takes you an hour to get to work. You got to leave at 8. You get home at 6 because 9 to 5. You go, all right, well, cool. Well, you wake up at 7. You can do a few little things. Maybe do a little something you like for 10 minutes or so. But let's say you have none of that time. Okay, you get back at 6. Well, so that you can have 8 hours sleep, which by the way, I could not recommend anything more than 8 hours of sleep. Like holy hell. You get back at 6. Let's say you have 2 hours of stuff you have to do. You have to do it all, your chores. All right, it's 8. All right, well, you're going to get to bed at 10:30 or 11. Well, rather than just being like, oh my God, like I'm super wasted or something like that, go, all right, this plan to use that 2.5, that 3 hours for yourself. And obviously some people will have different work schedules, but like Ayrton says, which I think is an awesome idea, is schedule and put aside specific time for yourself. Because what people will find is that when they look at actually what they do with all of their time and they actually write, well, what do I do at this hour? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You'll actually find that you do have a lot of time because you'll go, well, actually this hour here is just dead. Like I don't do anything. I'm just browsing Facebook and stuff like that. And there's been a million studies on Facebook feed and how it's actually really bad for...
That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, it's a whole nother episode. But yeah, like instead of just browsing through Facebook or, just watching a movie, schedule like, all right, this is my hour of learning guitar. This is my hour of running because I want to get ready for a marathon.
It doesn't mean you have to have like a calendar because I use a calendar, but it's mentally blocking it in. Because if you think about it, the weekend's mentally blocked into your...
It is.
Into your mind. Like you already think that when it gets to Thursday, there's only a couple more days till it's Saturday, and Saturday's for the boys, and like it's mentally in there
for the boys.
But that's the same concept that I'm trying to share here. Is like if you schedule something fun during the week that you want to do consistently and make time for it, like make it a non-negotiable. If that's spending time with the kids, make it happen.
Yeah.
If that's spending time playing the guitar like I do, make it happen. If that's going for a walk, or if that's having date night, like schedule it in and make it something. Because like those little things, even though it's like an hour or it's half an hour, or it's a 15-minute thing, that's going to bring you more joy during the week, which is going to help you enjoy the journey more. So when you get to the weekend, you're like, you know what? I actually really had a good week.
And funny enough, the happier you are, the more the more you will enjoy the things that you don't necessarily like as well, because you'll see the bright side. Because you're happy. Like I've worked pretty crappy jobs, but because every time I wasn't doing that job, I was doing something I really enjoyed. I'd be like, it's just work. Because afterwards, I'm just going to do something I enjoy. So I'm going to enjoy my time at work. Because why would I want to feel, super down? Because it's just going to ruin what I do next.
I think what I can vouch for is, for example, I'm going to use my running because that's like now my outlet.
Yeah.
Which is, it could be piano, guitar, or whichever. I thought, because I had to schedule long runs, like hour long runs. And I thought doing that was going to make me less productive and it's actually going to stress me out more because it's filling up my day. And it's an hour I was never using before. Like before that, I was working and doing other stuff. And now I have to schedule an hour every second day or so to run. Doing that has actually made me way more productive, way more mentally stronger. Like I've been hitting the snooze alarm less. I've been watching less Netflix, less YouTube. And I've actually been way more productive in my business and just general well-being. Like obviously exercise gives more endorphins, so I've just been feeling better. But still, if you're still playing guitar, learning piano, if you're drawing something that you love because you love drawing, you're still getting those dopamine spikes and you're still getting like that joy out of it, which actually makes you more productive and better 100%. In other areas, which for sure Ayrton could also vouch for.
Yeah,
I could do a whole episode on talking about that. It'll be my
so we won't go deep into it today,
but like
3 hours.
It literally is. This is stemming a little bit deeper into structuring your week. Like, for me, every morning I do the fun stuff that I want to do in the morning. Like I spend the first 3 hours actually doing no work. I start work at 8.
Same.
So I'll get up at 5. Not every day, and sometimes I'll sleep in, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. Like I'll go for a walk, I'll have a coffee, I'll watch some YouTube videos, I'll chill out. And I only started doing this a lot more I've been doing it for the last 4 years, but a lot more and focusing on it in the last 6 months. And I've noticed that I've been more productive. I've made more money in my business, and I've worked less hours, and I've had more fun, and I'm happier by scheduling and having discipline. and putting in the things that I want to do into my calendar, not just like, oh, I'll have time to play guitar or I have time to go for a hike or have time to have that morning routine. I make it a priority.
Yeah, for sure.
And it creates freedom within my life. So that's like a whole topic I could talk about. But
to be biased, we are 3 single. Oh, sorry, I'm not single.
He'll be single.
But I mean, like,
the good thing is this is recorded for your girlfriend to see.
I meant like we have no kids. Like,
yeah,
we don't have like obviously I have a girlfriend, but we don't have like pressing family issues. Like, we don't have to get up at like be at work at 7, be home at 4 to pick up a kid, 2 kids or a kid to then babysit them until they go to sleep. So how does that person
it's definitely
make time?
I would say
because it is a bit.
I can't speak from experience, so I'll only speak from where I am now. But I imagine I would adapt, and it'd be harder, but it'd be more awesome, more rewarding.
Improve, adapt, overcome.
Exactly.
But like I will definitely say that even here and with families and that, some people have a lot harder than us. They have way more responsibilities than us. Like I genuinely think that I have it pretty easy. I don't have any like crippling debt. I don't have children. I don't have any dependents or anything like really weighing me down. And that's going to make life hard. Some people have it really tough. But even if you do, there is always room for the things that you enjoy, and there is always room for putting a bit more brightness in your life, which is it's essential because it will make you better at everything else. It will make you happier, and it will make it easier to solve all of those problems because when you're happy, you are productive. You're awesome. You are a machine. Because happiness is everything.
And I just think, and if you are in pain or like not happy in some areas, then you actually got to sit down and figure out what areas. Are you unhappy because you're literally living week to week on the paycheck? Are you not happy because some certain relationships in your life? You're not happy because of your job? So it's actually important to sit down and write down what are the things that you think are actually causing unhappiness. And if it's something financially, then you got to actually look more deeper into like, what am I actually spending my money on? Is any money being wasted? Could I potentially get a better job? So these are like some of the questions that you need to actually look into, and which we pretty much, I'm sure all 3 of us do it all the time. Well, I always look into what actually makes me happy, and then sort of lessen the stuff that I don't enjoy doing and try and do more of the stuff I do enjoy.
My roommate Jack, who you guys both know somewhat, so he's an engineer, which as a lot of people will know is a very in university engineering, like did that course. Now he had a job he hated, and he was really burnt out. Like I could tell he was just super not into it, and he was like, I don't know what to do with this job. I'm so burnt out. And I was like, well, Jack, get another job. So I think it really just like we all have the ability to do these things, and I think we just need to put our minds to it. You know what I mean? But obviously, what's the main message here? Because we talked about a lot. I suppose we need to put it into something concise.
Yeah,
how to take away?
How would you summarize it for something to take away?
I think
for not people like us, more like the.
I think as a universal for everyone. Well, I mean, I'm more like a 5 to 9er.
Yeah, you work
in a business startup. You work all the time.
AM or 5 AM to
5
9
AM to 9 PM. Yeah.
Yeah, I only do half days, 12-hour days.
I do double days, but I absolutely love my job and all the people in it. So I don't care if you got to work 60 hours a week, you can still be happy. You just do something you love. But I think the big thing to take away is that while you should always be moving towards what you want, for everyone, you can still do little changes. Like Ayrton said, which I think is an amazing point. Schedule in the things that you would like to do. Make them a part of your routine. Don't just sort of wing it. Go like, all right, you know what? I've always wanted to learn how to rollerblade. You know what? Every Wednesday from 6 to 7, I will rollerblade. And that is a commitment. And if you commit to yourself, and if you make that a responsibility to yourself, then you will do it. If you say, maybe I'll rollerblade tonight, just on some random night, and maybe I'll do it next week, it won't happen. But if you go, no, this is my time for me to grow and for me to do the things I want to do, you'll be happier, you'll be healthiher, and you'll progress in life.
Yeah.
100%.
I didn't mean to laugh. You just got me off by saying rollerblading. If anyone wants to be a great rollerblader, you can. Don't get.
There's nothing wrong with
Don't let me stop you.
Hey,
that's
man,
fine.
Rollerblading's my Wednesday night.
Rollerblading's fun,
bro.
I've been.
So what about you guys?
What do you reckon?
So we don't take up everyone's.
I feel like you nailed the point for me. It is that. It's literally deciding, like, write down 5 things you love doing or you want to do or something you want to try out. And they don't have to be massive things. It could be starting a business, which is a massive thing to do. But like 5 things you want to do and start doing them now and start scheduling it into your week and just saying, you know what, I'm going to be doing this. If it's going for like a walk, for me, I do multiple different things. I walk in the morning, play guitar at night. On Fridays, I take the whole night off. Like, schedule those things in, because when you mentally block them in, you might not be using a calendar like I do, but if you mentally block them in, it's like the weekend. You mentally block the weekend and you look forward to it because it's an enjoyment thing. You're looking for the happiness. You're not looking for the actual days of the weekend. It's the feeling you want. It's the same. Create it for your week. Create some small things you want to do. Schedule them, and you will have a happier life.
I like it. What about you, Blake?
Yeah. Life is literally just about growth and fulfillment. If you don't feel like you're growing, you're sinking, I mean, we are in the sense of like, not literally, but we're kind of like sharks. We do need to keep moving.
Keep swimming, yeah.
We need to keep moving forward to something. And a lot of people that are unhappy is because they just have nothing to work towards. Whether it's a huge goal, like for me, it's like doing this marathon. I love doing challenges and love proving people wrong and love doing things I don't think like that doesn't seem like it's possible to do, but like just pushing yourself to the edge. So that's like big kind of goals. But if you just want to learn something like a musical instrument, just having something that you can move and progress, because that's what life's about. It's about progressing. People that feel like they're in the same spot and all their friends are moving, then that's when they feel like they're dying.
I think that brings us, this is a conclusion we can give to everyone at home. I think everyone at home watching right now should pick one activity or one thing that they would really like to do.
They've always wanted to do.
Or learn, no matter what it is.
Next 30 days.
Yeah. 30 days, set 1 day a week or 2 or whatever, set that event, so that thing, into your schedule.
100%.
And follow through for 30 days. And you will find instantly that you're so much happier.
That's
an easy
joyful
goal. Give yourself 1 hour a week, at least, if not more. Probably more. You can find it. But if you can give yourself 1 hour a week to do that task, or 2 days, 1 hour each of those days, set to it for 30 days, you will feel much happier at the end of the 30 days.
And you'll notice it in
100%.
other areas of your life.
And I think that's a goal. Yeah, I agree. And I think that's a goal everyone who's watching should set at home.
I'm set.
Yeah, that's it. I think that is exactly what you should do. Because once you pick one area in life that's lacking and you can grow that, then it's going to solve everything else.
Awesome. I reckon, boys, we'll finish up there. I feel like this is a really, really deep topic today. We covered a fair bit. If you're listening or watching at this home, at home,
anywhere
or wherever you are,
with home,
make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast, as we will bring out fresh content every single week to really help you guys change perspective on some of the topics that we're going to be talking about, to change perspective on, how to create more happiness in life, how to be more abundant, how to, live the life that you want. The whole message of the podcast, the 5,000 week journey, is that it's like living your life to your fullest. So we can share some tips and insights on these podcasts and these episodes. Tune in.
And be leaders. Lead by example.
And I think, because we'll always come up with topics to chat about each week, but if anyone who's watching feels like there's something that should really be talked about, let us know.
Leave a comment.
Drop a comment down below.
Leave a comment. Go, hey guys,
send us a message.
Chat about this. Yeah, send us a
We're
message.
here on the journey as well, so we're still learning and adapting as we grow. But
you never stop learning.
Exactly. Anyway, that's it for this episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a comment down below. Make sure you share this on with someone who needs to hear it and listen to it. And as always, guys, we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Remember, guys, set yourself a goal, follow through, and we'll see you next time.